school cameras in.
All right, good morning, everybody. It is 10 a.m. on September 17th, 2023, and this is the Planning Board Sitewalk agenda for a Sitewalk for application 2022-009, the Jewett Warehouse. The Sitewalk is being conducted by the Raymond Planning Board for the Jewett Warehouse located on Route 27 in Raymond. This is for the board to become familiar with the existing conditions based on the September 7th, 2023 public hearing. This application is proposing to construct a 200,000 square foot industrial warehouse. The property is located on Route 27 and is identified as Raymond Tax Map 28, lots 9, 10, and 11. May I have roll call by the board first, please? Board members.
Bob McDonald, Planning Board.
Gretchen Gott, Planning Board.
Jim McLeod, Vice Chair.
Delish, Chair. I will note the Conservation Commission is also in attendance. Is there a quorum or just so many? Just two members? Okay, so it's not a quorum, but they are here. And now members of the application.
Grace Thompson, Lamprey River Advisory Committee.
Grace Levergood, Lamprey River Advisory Committee.
Nice to meet you.
Dan Ray with Jewett Construction.
Ben Bridges, Consulting. Craig Jewett, Jewett Construction.
Brendan Walden, Gold Environmental.
And we also have Greg DeBona from Bowler Engineering that is getting a vehicle.
So this site has a lot of physical limitations.
It does.
And we recognize that, and that in itself is a hardship on anybody. But is there anybody that has mobility issues that needs somebody to tend to them?
I have mobility issues. I don't know what you mean by tending.
To have somebody assist you?
I have my assistive devices.
Okay.
It's going to require let's let common sense prevail. It would be easier if you allowed us to ferry you through this area to the right, get us up to some highland where we could start. If you want to go all the way to the back by the power lines for the road that Bob had suggested, we can do that with two vehicles in a couple trips. It only takes a few minutes. But to walk everybody back in there, as you said, we've got obstacles because of the rain currently this road. So I guess I'd like to hear from the board what you want us to help you with.
I think it makes sense to ferry everybody up there and then sort of work our way back on foot.
Okay.
Till as far as we can.
To this point, or we may end up at the new entrance and then walk back the road.
So is that what you were proposing? We would actually go to the far end and then walk our way back?
Bob had suggested is the best way to see it. If you want, we can go back in there. We've got his truck as well. Does anybody want to see the area that we'd like to clean up?
Yeah, I think we're going to end up there as one of the points.
Yep.
I think what we're trying to figure out, and it may be easier to do this once we start moving, is where are people going to have to split based on their mobility.
Okay,
so like going to the vernal pool is going to be out for Gretchen, presumably.
And even
because
possibly me.
It's a hike. But we can't have everybody waiting for one person.
Yep.
So with most of us, the main body will have to move at the main body's pace, and then we'll maybe need somebody from your contingent to be sweeper behind.
No problem. So why don't we do this? Why don't we figure out how three vehicles, and some people can sit in the back of Dan's, it's okay in the state of New Hampshire, use seatbelt, but it's on private property, so maybe a couple can hang their feet off the tailgate. We'll go up and we'll stop where the shooting range was, the unofficial shooting range was for years. We can tour that real quick and then make a decision of how we're getting back. We can drive back if you want. Does that work for everybody?
It sounds like the right approach until we get up there, but two things before we start. Since everyone is going to be getting into different vehicles, there is no talk about the site or any communications about that. I mean, you can talk about the nice day. but no talk about what we
I can't tell you how nice it is.
I just said outside of the weather, please keep communications to general, conditions. We will all speak as a group, but also the site walk is not the time to ask questions about the building or the plans of the building. We are here just to see the conditions and the outline. Keep conversations in a group and to a minimum, and please ask for the chair's attention before you do ask a question or make a comment.
And just so you know, there's a remote microphone with a clipboard, so that's where the recording of the sound is going to be. So any questions need to be in the area of the clipboard and the chair.
And I just received notification that Tom Daigle, our planning board member, is on his way, but with all the scurrying of people in trucks, I'm sure he'll make it in time.
I'll stay for the last round and
Okay.
squire him up.
I can do the same thing if you'd like with a
Just so
vehicle.
somebody waits for him,
Yeah, so
so
why
he
don't
knows where we are.
One prior, Madam Chair, before we go, I, as Board of Selectmen side, I want to address and I want some distance figures that have been being asked for from the drawings, such as, are we currently on, is this property, that boundary marker right there, a boundary marker for the property in the orange, is that the proper, are we on the property line?
Yes.
Okay, my questions are all going to be related to the water. What's the distance then from the property to the river? I would like boundaries of all of them, all water issues. I would like to know as we walk if there's anywhere flagged for our wellhead. I want to know all of that information, relationship to well number 4, bedrock well number 4, everything in relationship to the town's water. I would like all of those distance information, and I would like it pointed out, please.
Can you comment on some of the work that's going on now as it relates to those questions?
Yeah. So what we have are stakes. You'll see some orange flags, but the stakes at the top of them spray painted bright orange. Those were put in just over the last week. For all 4 building corners, we have the wellhead location, the 4 corners of the
When you
lead
say
area.
wellhead, you mean your well?
Our wellhead.
I'm
yeah.
talking about the town's well, and I would like to see
Yeah, no, I understand.
and those would be in blue, correct?
Brendan can help show everybody where all the wetland flags are, and all that stuff's been there for a while. Everything's easily seen and delineated. So we'll give you guys all the bearing points that we can. We have the plans so we can reference rough
Floodplain,
distances and that type of
I would
thing.
like to see all of that in relationship to the sites.
And
actual on the
just,
ground.
just 1 second, just out of respect of the enormous amount of traffic noise, can we hold off our questions until we get up into the site where it's a little quieter?
Certainly.
And we can hear better?
I have one question right here.
Anyway, we can still ask it up there.
Well, I think you need to see what I'm saying, maybe experience what I'm saying. Sitting here, there's an occasional whiff of septic. Is that actual septic smell, or is that the mud that sometimes actually smells like mud? You don't know.
smell anything.
It's occasional. It can be strong. I've been sitting here. I smell it occasionally. Okay, thank you.
I showered.
I showered.
So
All right. So the meeting is somewhat of a pause until everybody is escorted to the main part of the site.
So I have 1 shotgun seat, 1 rear seat. I have 2 kids with chairs in there, so I can only take 2. But everybody can pack in the back here, and we'll shuttle the first over the.
Right, you're gonna take a load in?
Yeah, I
Water.
can put
Can you throw this in the back as well?
anybody who wants to
Yep,
all
help
in the
yourself.
back. I can drop the tailgate down too.
And we'll wait for the last planning member to all up. Real off-road experience.
But there's two seats right here open too. So.
I think we could have done this on horseback. Would have been better.
I used to do this
That's what
on
I thought you were gonna
horseback.
supply.
Yeah.
I used to ride out there all the time.
Really?
Yep.
Anybody else hopping in the back here? Jim?
I think we're gonna wait for Tom.
I got 4 spots in here. So I think we have
Good enough.
Okay. Why don't you get back in and wait for us?
Sounds good.
It's actually going to be hot out, I think.
It's gonna be in the 70s, but this is the most open spot we have.
But I should say it's going to be beautiful out.
Do you want to roll up with these guys? Because I see Brendan's here. He's got room for 4, and if we're waiting for Tom,
Tom will
that's
be
4.
here in a minute. He was zooming over. That'll be the end of us. It'll be 3 cars. If Tom shows up in a minute, it'll just be the 3 cars.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you ride with these guys, then that'll be 4 when Tom gets here.
As he drives off my car.
Nope.
You're like all hands in the vehicle, like Disney.
Greg and Dan, maybe you can kind of show them the plans and kind of where we're at and get a
Yeah.
good discussion.
Yep. Is everybody up here
Did
now?
the last group come up?
Yeah, we're in. Everybody's in.
Was Tom with you?
Yep, he sure is. We took good care of him.
Didn't dump them off. At least they're pretty colors.
You know it's not to miss meetings anymore.
Right?
Okay,
Oh,
everybody has,
I know, I thought that through.
yesterday. Yeah.
Gretchen.
oh, is it hunting season?
Yeah, perfect.
I know.
All right, the meeting is being presumed once again. Please, out of courtesy of the environment and just the logistics of having a site walk, one comment, question per at a time. Please direct those through the chair. I just want as accurate minutes. And again, we're only asking specifics about a certain environmental aspect, not the buildings. All right, and that being said,
You guys want to
did you want to show a map?
locate where we're at and talk about what we're doing here as far as cleanup goes? And
Sure. Yeah, just I'll turn it over to Ben in a second, but if you look at the overall demolition plan sheet, C201, basically we're right
I
at
don't
the.
think that's. Can we do that, you guys?
What's
Because
that?
We just want the.
We
site-
just want to see where we are at
Right.
on
we
the.
can't do.
No, we're not talking about the plan. Can you just
I'm
point out
just
where
giving
we're
you
at?
guys bearings on where we're at.
Right.
So this little turnaround is where we're currently sitting. It's kind of after the U, after you drive right up into the site. So we have a stake right behind us that's the southeast corner, just for kind of perspective on the building. Building generally goes up this way, kind of towards the big boulder and off to the left. The lead shot area from the shotgun shells is sort of basically to the back right area of that big boulder. They're all flagged with the same orange stakes that are tied off by the tree and then spray painted on the top. And I think that will give everybody a chance to kind of take a look around here. And then there was some interest about getting down to the wetland crossing, which is about 180 feet through the woods directly east of that rock. So it's southeast really of that rock. So it's a little bit of a trek, but if anybody wants to poke in there, this is where you get in. So you can walk up towards the rock through the brush, but it's honestly almost a little easier to go through here. There's a little bit of a beaten trail down.
Yeah, I'd like to see the trail.
So
And I have sorry, this is Greg from Bowler. I have the map superimposed over Google Earth on my phone with a blue dot showing us where we are. So I can take the trip that wants to walk to the wetland area and walk the crossing, and we'll be able to identify exactly where we are in the crossing.
is that technology available for the board?
Yeah, this is actually.
Maybe you can tell them how to get it so they can use
I
it
just
in the
learned
future.
about this actually on Friday. You just have to you have to download Google Earth app onto your phone, and then I can send out everybody a whatever it's called. It's a KZ whatever file that you open up via email and save to your Google Earth app, and then it saves the site for you.
Clever.
It's
Help
really
us in
cool.
the future.
But for right now, assuming everybody's trusting my Google Earth app, we can follow that, and it will locate us to where this crossing is.
Well, if nothing else, you're wearing orange. So
Yeah,
I'm staying with
You're
you.
probably the largest target out here anyway, so stay close.
Morning. Oh, I'm sorry. Tom Daigle did join the meeting.
Yep.
morning, Tom.
Morning.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dee,
Yes.
so on here, we just drove in. Can you please use your finger, show us where we drove in?
Yeah, so that little orange stake that you guys saw,
Yep.
and you were asking about the property line,
Yep.
is basically that guy right there. You can see the shed
Okay.
in light gray.
Yep.
The gravel road is that real light gray kind of delineation that goes up to. We had that fork in the road. We all turned right.
Yep. And we
and then
went.
we came
We
up.
went left.
We went left.
Oh.
We went left.
Okay, fair
So-
enough.
And turned around.
So we took a right and came out, and we're basically parked right in this opening.
Okay, so in this area that we drove up and then we went left, all of this is the wetlands that we just drove through is why it was too wet where we had to take the car. All
Yeah.
of this area here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is all
and
what's
nothing-
delineated as.
no work's
okay.
happening in there. It's
Okay.
all just as you see it today, as it's going to be tomorrow.
Okay.
Right. That's a very good point.
That-
So
well,
if anybody
no,
walks,
yeah.
everybody drive through and say, "Wow, that's really wet." We're not touching any of this.
Yep. Okay.
The intent is to put large boulders at the driveway that we drove up
Yep.
to make sure that nobody else can come up here ever again.
Yeah.
Okay, so that will be that. Yeah, again, not talking about the plans, but it's something that we
Well,
have.
as
Well,
far
no,
as
that's
where we
still
are.
an
That's
environmental.
Well, where we are, yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, the wetland crossing that we've been talking about that's detailed on the exhibit that Greg has details for the temporary culvert and everything, that's all like 180 feet through the woods off the rock. While we're all looking at it, the plan is to come back down past that crossing, and then right as you turn right, we'll take a look at that area of wetland that we're crossing and filling for the drive, and then we'll keep going up here.
Did you have a question, Warren?
This
Warren Gibby?
Warren Gibby. Is this town property? This here, this lollipop
It's
looking.
actually state. It's a bit of state property. Part of the state right away because they use that as part of their salt storage and whatever else for snow removal.
So you had mentioned about putting boulders, but
We put it up onto our side of the property, so we can't put
Well,
it on DOT. So
well, isn't there a right of way for fire?
it's just an access easement, but it's not. There's no right. It's not a public right of way, but we're blocking it once it gets onto our property. So then going forward, once it's built, they'll be able to fire it. Anybody else will be able to use the main entrance.
So come up the main driveway.
Yeah.
Is there? I didn't notice a access way off the back of.
There's a gate up there, so it looks the exact same as at the street.
Oh, I didn't notice on the
Yeah, but
drawing.
There's
there'd
definitely
be
one on the left.
there's area that would have to be driven up the slope. But yes.
All right. Yes, Gretchen?
Could we talk about some of the things that are on the site and the flags right now behind you, Greg?
Yeah.
The stuff in the white 5-gallon buckets, what's that? And the little orange flags along, what are those flags signifying? And farther back, is that a target leaning against the tree?
Yeah. Does anybody want to weigh in on what this stuff is?
Some of the flags, like the pink flags you see, are things that we used when we were doing the assessment. You know, so those are some of the sample locations when we were doing the supplemental site investigation.
So test pits or something,
They were hand dug because we were only going down to 18 inches.
already?
Yep.
And what about the buckets?
The bucket is trash. It looks like trash. And I think you're right, that's probably a target, but that's not. So the thing, there was another question about like all the shotgun shells and things like that. When we're talking about what JTC is doing related to the environmental, our concern is with the lead impacted soils. The solid waste, you know, that you see, you know, there's trash over there, the shells and things like that. I'm not sure if that's something that Jewett's going to take care of when they develop the site, but our focus is really on the lead impacted soils, which, you know, like I said, is in this area here.
And I think it's been pointed out before that new ammunition has no lead in it. Is that true?
That's correct.
It's
Okay.
available still.
What?
Ammunition with lead is still available. Depends on what people use.
So who brought that point up before about lead? Was it? It was actually
David Rice.
David
Yeah.
Rice.
Most of what you purchase is lead free, but people still do who makes their own ammo and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
They make their own out of lead.
Hand loading.
Hand loading. So there is a possibility, but for shotgun shells, anything over the shelf is all should be all lead free.
Is lead free. Okay.
And you know, just to kind of elaborate on that a little bit, when we do the cleanup, we will clean it up to the point where there's no lead in the soil. You know, so even if tomorrow somebody shoots a bunch of shotgun shells out there and that drops some lead shot that might be identified when we do the cleanup, when we're done with the cleanup, the soil that remains is going to be sampled and confirmed to be, you know, background levels of lead.
Because they're still shooting in the same area that they shot before in. Okay.
They could be. I mean,
Okay,
So I just want to, I'm sorry, if I can
Jim?
just clarify one thing before we
Yep.
move on. So you said no lead in the soil, and then you said background amount, but really it's just below the SRS.
well, we're not going to below the SRS. We're going to be able to get to background based on the levels that we saw in the additional supplemental site investigation. Like soil in New Hampshire has a certain amount of lead in it, and so our goal will be to bring it down to what a normal level of lead is in the soil. So not just right below the SRS. We're trying to get to background, and we should be able to do that easily.
Thank you.
One more question, Gretchen?
Another question. This I picked up. Does this indicate that some of the shooting went on out here? The shells, and because I don't hunt, shoot, whatever, do shells drop where they're used, or they're carried, or does this indicate that because there are several shells around here? Does this indicate that shooting went on in a broader area, or how does that work?
It's kind of either or.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it applies to this site walk, but these are ejected shells. So they were fired where you see them.
That's what I'm,
Typically,
so
yeah.
in my mind, it still does apply because it has potential for exposure, lead exposure there. Thank you.
Let me speak to the question about debris, general debris. If you look at the drawings, general debris doesn't exist in remote locations because people aren't going to go to the extent to do that. Most of the debris you'll see is on the front part of the property and adjacent to this area where people could get trucks in. By virtue of the site development, we have to pick it up because it's in the way. So most of what you'll see is going to get picked up during the construction process and taken out of here and disposed of properly. We have no option but to, like this concrete and some of the debris over there. It all has to get picked up. We can't bury it, so it has to get removed.
Right.
Okay,
Which
on
can-
your left foot, is that a shotgun shell or something else that somebody dropped? Just want to make sure somebody, okay, never
Shotgun
mind.
shell.
That's all I asked.
I just have a question. Is there any chances an underground storage tank is here from the old gas station?
This isn't the gas station.
We're not on that site.
Okay.
Do you want me to answer that question anyway? So the reports and the supplemental investigation we did, we were able to find research and determined that the gas stations that were
I
located.
don't think we should be going down that. I think that needs
It's
to
in
be
the
done
reports.
But
I
yeah, it's in
understand,
the
but-
documentation.
We have a lot to go through still.
Yeah, all right. I would like to move the site walk so everybody can see this. We have a lot of professional people that do need to get to jobs today, believe it or not, being a Sunday. And I want to make this an efficient site walk. So anybody wants to walk out to this rocky area?
I
Or
think we were saying that it's easier to
go
get
this way?
to go through the
crossing?
trail this way.
All right, who's our leader?
Follow the guys in orange.
And who's
Before
going
you
to take
go,
up the rear?
I want these markers. I want to know. This is the aquifer. I want to see these areas.
We're going to be coming back. We're going to be coming back to this spot.
We have to
In
come back
relationship
because
I
to
mean, if
this.
you want, you
I
can walk
want
right back in here to see these markers.
I'm saying this is what I'm talking about, and this is where you're proposing to excavate and to. I would like to know this area because if it's bedrock, I'd like to know where that is.
Yep.
So we'll be
So-
sure that somebody gets us to that part.
Thank you. I can carry it when we need to.
Is everybody here? And please just note what location we are at.
Okay. So again, Greg from Bowler. What we're looking at here, this wet creek, This is the point of crossing. This is right where we're showing the temporary wetland crossing. And the area, if I'm looking in the northeast corridor, that's that clamshell area that we're going to be excavating and taking the dirt from up that portion and moving onto the site.
Can I ask, you just called this a creek? Is this listed as a creek or is this the stream?
It's an intermittent.
This is the stream, correct?
Tier 1 intermittent stream.
Thank you.
crossing, Yeah.
Thank you.
That's identified on the.
Okay, thank you.
So this whole area, which we've been calling like the oyster,
Yeah.
is going to be clear cut and then brought down to grade.
Yes.
Or a foot below grade, so it'll be reseeded later.
Very close to the finished grade of what the kind of the water in the low area is of the bank here.
So basically, it's saying, presuming that this is the water level now, the final height of all of this is just going to be like 2 feet above this.
That's correct. Yep, just a little bit higher.
So that wetland, is this on your property or is this the neighboring property? That big wetland over here to
That's-
our right?
That's
That-
behind the state barns in town.
So is this the town's wetlands or is this the property's wetlands which will drain when you,
It's overlapping.
it's overlapping? So somewhere in the
so
middle of that, so
to
you
say-
both
yeah,
have a line in there. I can see a flag, I can see them. So is it a diagonal line through that? The wetlands?
The property line runs perpendicular to, if you're facing basically directly that way, probably halfway through the wetland.
So
It's
halfway-
pretty deep in
I
there.
can show you.
So halfway through this wetland is
Our property line.
this property, and then the towns or states? Is that states?
I can tell you in a
DOT
second.
or
So
Raymond?
see how it lines up. So this is Jewett's property. That's where we are.
lovely
right now.
scent of mosquito spray.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's,
It's
like
30% deed. I don't want to be big.
lovely
But see,
scent.
see how big that wetland is on this property.
Okay.
And it does extend. And,
Oh, we
and
can't have separate
So
conversations.
is this line then?
That's
so,
the property line.
okay, so this is the property. So
Approximately.
if you let everybody see what we're looking at here, so that's this
This
wetland
is this big wetland.
is this, which is here, which I'm asking when we impact here, that whole wetland is going to
Approximately.
be
We're a little
that
we're-
wetland will be
it's
impacted as a whole.
Approximately. Yep.
And when you said temporary crossing, does that mean you'll restore this back to a wetland after you're done?
That's correct.
It's not going to stop being a wet. It's going to allow the hydrology to continue and everything and aquatic passage. But once they're done utilizing that area, reseeded, revegetated, that crossing comes out and becomes
Here about here?
restored.
No, it's way over here.
What's that?
No, over here.
Thank you.
We're approximately
Oh, okay.
crossing right
Oh, this one.
Here's the property line there.
Okay.
So there's the state garage.
Okay. And this is where.
That's approximately where we
This is
are.
to our right, correct?
Yeah, so this wetland is
So
intersects
this-
several properties.
So what we're looking at right now,
Is it-
looking at that angle, that's still part of Jewett's property.
It might be easier if you just orientate the map to
Yeah.
how we're actually standing.
Right.
So this is where we are, and we're standing right here, right now.
Right.
Yep.
So looks like some of the water is actually flowing
Yes.
towards wetland
Yes.
sea.
That way.
And at the meeting, will you explain additionally how you will treat this stream so that it's not drained? You can show us all of that at the meeting. We're asking on the ground what we see right now, but at the meeting.
We're gonna that's a meeting
At the
question.
meeting, we'll have developed.
Sorry, just so
We're
I can-
only looking at the wetlands. I just have
That's what I
one.
said.
Here,
Go ahead.
So
We
you
don't
right.
need to know
He's got it
Thank
right,
you.
so I'll
So
hold you
I
right.
see tire tracks going from this area right through. So people have been driving through this wetland currently?
Yeah.
Jewett?
No,
We don't even own this land.
Jewett doesn't own the property, just to be clear.
Okay, I'm sorry. Whoever owns the property? Developers?
No.
It's been happening for
Ready Mix
years.
hasn't been on the property for years either. No, this is just trespass and folks that come onto the site.
Okay. I just wanted those tire
Yeah.
tracks noted. All right. What is the next site?
And can I say one thing about the crossing?
Yes.
Okay, just to make sure everybody understands in relation to what we're seeing here, in relation to the drawings,
the crossing is lined up with the narrowest point of the stream. So see how about 10 feet to the left? That's where the crossing takes place, not the widest point.
Okay, thank you
Okay?
for pointing
Just-
that out.
Just to make sure everybody sees what we're looking at.
It was mentioning the fact that we're creating that replication area over the crossing, why we're going
When we
in
go
there.
up to see
It's
the,
yeah.
I don't know.
No,
if
no,
that's
no,
already
we
gathered,
don't
so-
have to talk about the plan of why, we just want to see
Yep.
the area. That's what this site walk is about, because otherwise we'd be here all
I just want to
day.
make sure everyone understands that's where it is.
Yeah.
So that-
Yep, just, that's why the map's important, like I said, always position the map when we're standing here so everybody can see where they are on the map.
when we go up to see the big rectangle where the lead abatement is going to be happening on the map, about 25 feet from that is the edge of the wetlands of this stream up top. Can we see where? Can we go walk up there when we see the wetland? I mean the lead remediation area. Can we
I
see
believe
that?
that was on the list, yes.
Yeah.
You want to walk that way?
Oh, no,
Almost loop
let's
there
do
on the way back, or take the trail back?
We'll go take the trail back, go up to where the big rectangle
Boulder
is.
yeah.
Didn't you say that it was an easier walk?
This was the easier walk to see the crossing, not
Oh.
to see that wetland up there.
Okay, so back to where we went, back to
Yeah.
the truck, and then we'll walk towards the boulder.
Okay, everybody, reverse.
I have brakes on, thank you. Well, one brake, the other brake doesn't work. Thank you.
We're heading back, guys. We're gonna go to the boulder.
Trish had pointed out.
Well, he can catch up.
Yeah, he knows where we are.
All right, we're gonna head towards the boulder. Anybody wants to go this way? And whoever can narrate where we're headed.
see any evidence of cataracts.
Well, I'd like to see the vehicle that does it.
Definitely targets.
Yep.
Watch out for the rocks.
There's some one more thing up Milford. That would be. And the graphic in here with the you know.
Maybe deer or something.
Yeah.
But
Holy cow, I'm not going that deep.
it's probably gonna be a little scratchy.
Raspberries.
This is all poison ivy.
You'll find out tomorrow.
Oh no.
This is not poison ivy.
Oh, so I haven't seen any yet.
No, this is not.
They look like raspberries.
Ah, I'll pick her.
Have you?
No, I haven't done.
That is a massive boulder.
Hi.
I'll get scared of heights.
Oh.
So in general, the area that's
Oh, wait one sec. Just for this part of the group. We can't wait for everybody. It's take forever. All right, go ahead. We are at,
so we walked by. Gretchen, can you hear us? Okay.
that's all right. Should we have video?
Okay. So we walked by one corner of the general focus of lead investigation as we walked through the middle of the grass over there.
Yep.
It's all generally like to this rock and then kind of right to the right. So we're kind of like right standing basically in it. And you can see the rocks all deteriorated and peppered from those shotgun shells. So it's pretty isolated to this general location. I think where most of it just ricocheted back.
Is the rock in this rectangle? Is the rock
It's kind of
here
like
or
right where
here?
that node is there. Oh no, it's up in your side.
So we're standing in the reclamation area.
Yep.
Or you're gonna be
Yep, you got it.
And this will all be cleaned out.
Yep.
Cleared.
And just to add just a little bit of context, when we did the investigation, we stepped out, to either side from where the lead impacts were identified initially, and then obviously, beyond to try to make sure that we really had the area captured that requires remediation.
Is that a pile of logs behind us here? Probably a back top of the back top.
Because they probably shot on the other side of the rock too. If you were.
You guys want to climb around in there?
Yeah.
There's trees and.
Are we coming back this way?
My guess.
That's what they're.
Well, this was this the wetland area that they wanted to look at?
Yeah.
We want to look at too.
What is beyond here that needs to be seen?
But
A
this
little
is
nub of
really-
wetland.
Nothing
This is where you were talking
All right,
about,
he's
right?
got the camera. I'm going to rely on the camera.
The building generally runs kind of all up to our left too, just for baseline.
Okay.
This one is
Just for, I think, the short term, and then I think people are going to be coming back this way.
yeah.
Yes, in fact, where I'm looking right now, like the building's like straight over where the rock is. That direction. That's pretty good.
Looks like one of our estimators had their hands on it.
Bring out the crayons.
You take it.
Yeah.
From the standpoint of why I do this, I'm a commercial real estate appraiser, so that's how I understand, and I do large stuff. That has a lot of issues with it.
Okay.
Gretchen, they asked if they can go walk and see the wetland edge over
It
there.
looks like one of our estimators had it. We pick on our estimators because they all use colored
I'm gonna go
pencils and
take a
crayons, but
picture.
it's part of the trade.
There's bottled water on the tailgate.
Oh, thank you.
A couple of cases of it. Feel free to just throw the bottles in the ground. Like everybody else has done.
My
back here.
my morals don't allow me to throw something on the ground.
Of course not. I guess that's what you do out here.
Oh my God, I just don't believe people just pull up and dump their stuff.
You know what it is? A lot of it from the time we spent out here comes from 156. You can get over here real easy from 156 and up where Cobb's Chicken Farm used to be on 156. You get down the cul-de-sac, and it'll bring you with roads that are better than this through here.
Well,
I think it's over further.
yeah.
So at this point, what is it that we're looking for down here? What are we trying to see?
For the top of that stream that where the crossing is.
The crossing is way down there.
The crossing's way down where we just were.
I wanted to see the top of it, see where it's flowing from.
Well, it all comes down that hillside, and there are parts where the topography allows for channelization, and then like here, it's just drainage. Right.
And then it heads out.
So there's all these separations between the area that would be considered any kind of stream or have any kind of scour.
Oh, believe it or not.
And then
I'm
just
so impressed
broad
by it.
wetland.
That was my biggest fear.
Is that yours? What? No, I wish. I don't have my New Hampshire license. I only have my Maine.
I call these wobbles. What do you?
You hunt?
Water there.
I like to say I do, but
Jim, you gotta go.
you haven't gotten anything in a while.
What's that?
I go sit in the woods for a couple hours.
Raymond, I used to go to Auburn all the time, but I don't really know Raymond at all.
Did anyone take a picture?
I can see the water running. But I'm also getting eaten alive by mosquitoes at the moment.
It is moving.
Yeah, I can see it flowing right there. But they've said that this is an intermittent stream, even though this is a wetland area.
And then there's another little ponded right there by that mushroom. Those 7 mushrooms right there. You can see the water.
Yeah, you can see it from the reflection that the water's flowing.
And see how it goes this way? It's going down. It's all the drainage is coming down
right
this
through
way,
here, yeah.
flowing that way.
You can see the water kind
And
of
it's-
babbling a little bit right here.
So were we here just to determine if there's flow? Because I think there's definitely flow here.
Yeah. Did you want to take a picture of, if you look right at the, you can see the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll make a design. It'll be artistic. It'll be pretty.
So just for the purpose of everybody, just you guys went to the far side wetland area?
Yeah, so we went over to look where the low part of that wetland is. There's like a intermittent stream that has a little bit of flow right now that Kathy from Conscom wanted to take a look at. And it's real nice back there. That's all that happened. We came back.
Okay.
The other thing I just want to comment on this end, there are many more hardwoods than there were over that direction.
Okay.
So I think the next spot that we want to go to is to reconvene up by the pole line on the road that we were on so that we can walk over to the vernal pool.
Let's show on the map where the next area is that we'll be visiting.
So we're gonna go up and
Wait till you can get the camera.
Yep.
And anyone who wants to see where we're heading, the map is being
Thanks, Bob.
shown.
yeah, we're gonna take the cars up and park right about here because there's a chain. We can certainly walk up the rest of the way. It's very passable. And then from there, folks can get to the vernal pool if they'd like, see this corner. I'll give you appreciation for the upper side of the parcel.
When you say cars, do you mean the envoy we're in, or we're going back into our individual cars and
No,
driving?
no, we're gonna drive up the
Oh.
path.
We're going to carpool the same way that we did to get here. We're going to come back
about
around
right here.
to here.
And that's where that chain was we saw earlier.
And then we can look at this area. This is where the well and the tank is proposed to be, and then we want to see where this pipe is, if that's still the location that you're proposing, and then the vernal pool.
There's a couple pull-off areas to park. Let me turn around and park before, so we don't get all snagged up in there. And we don't have to back all the way out.
Sounds good.
Also, when we get up there, could you point out the distance between your property and the power lines? I don't know if they can be viewed from your property.
That's marked on the map right here.
Okay, I want to see if we can see it on the ground.
It's quite a ways
Okay,
from
that's what I'm
edge of
looking for.
property up to where the power lines are. It's still,
The easement.
What's the footage on the map show?
I know, we'd have to measure it.
Well, we can do that back at
300 feet?
Yeah,
Okay, just
roughly.
in general.
Yeah,
for a football
I remember
field.
walking on up there when we did our sidewalk in December of '22.
All right, so they're gonna turn to face
And
the other direction.
any more questions before we reconvene?
Don't get on yet. There's a-
All right, then I'm going to pause this for battery life.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Oh, found it.
You're the keeper.
All right then.
Put on your clipboard.
Whatever else my kids shut down the feet.
All right, so when you guys were walking down to the chain, they said that repeat what you said, this area is?
If we could come over to the truck, I'll show you guys a better Brendan's out finding a few of the orange stakes right now.
He's on a scouting mission.
What's for anyone?
So the overall demolition plan is kind of the best wayfinding initially. So we went up the hill as the grade climbed. We kind of came back down from the circular spot up through here, and we're standing kind of right off of the property line where you see the gate over there. And generally speaking, the building is all positioned directly kind of like back left of us. What we have up here to see is the northwest building corner, which is kind of on the opposite side of the Tahoe. And we have the wellhead location pinned as well, which is sort of a little further back right of that. We also have the ability
Excuse me, your well?
Yeah, our
Proposed
well
well, so-
location.
Proposed well.
And
No, I just didn't
a
wanna lose
couple
it.
hundred, about 250 feet into the woods to the west, you'll go down a pretty steep gradation, and that's where you'll find the vernal pool extents. So it's I know we walked out there in the winter and it was a lot less grown in. It's pretty thick right now. I was just out there yesterday, but if people have the wherewithal to get out there, then it'd be worth trekking out there right now.
What's
too.
the distance, would you say?
250, 300 feet probably into the woods. It's all downhill and it's thick.
Yes, Bob, you have a question? Simple.
Could we, is that marked?
That's what I'm, my question.
We can find this flag,
All right, good,
and the flag will be pinned right at
All
the
right,
edge of where it's
excellent.
coming in.
Thank you.
And also, could you point out when we get there the extent of the edge from between off of this? What's that called? Anyway.
The vernal pool?
No, not the vernal pool. It's the what's around it. Buffer. Thank you.
Okay.
The 600 foot buffer.
They want you to find the flag, the closest flag
Yep.
to where the discharge point's gonna be.
So why don't we? I'll show you guys the building corner pin and then the wellhead pin. I think everybody should be able to get in deep enough to see those, and then for those brave enough to keep trekking, you can have at it.
All right, we're going this way.
Yeah, I don't want to get it on anybody that doesn't want it.
We want to be in between wetland flags. Oh, well, you know what else I have? Like I said, I have the location pretty well accurate on this thing. It's been following us around the whole time. No, you talking about where the town well is? By the high school?
Hey Gretchen, they said it's going to be pretty thick through here. Teresa's going to be staying behind. Do you want to keep her company?
Jim, no, thank you. I'll do what I can. And
Okay.
when I have to stop, I'll stop. Thank you. I know you would like to have me stay behind, but I have
Orange tie here is the which corner?
This is the northwest building corner here. We've got a stake and a flag in the tree. So if you kind of look south, this is the building here. Yep, the next orange flag up to the little further northwest is where the proposed wellhead's going to be going.
this is the wellhead back this way.
So this would be in the north.
Yep, you got it. So this is the so we're kind of standing right in the middle of that radius.
Is this the portion of the property that on your drawings talks about having to, it's on this corner where it's bumping into the easement of the town? Or is it moved?
We changed it. We're not calling for the grading to go onto the town's property anymore. So we just put in a bigger retaining wall over there and tighten our grade.
So the elevation we're on will be the elevation? We're at,
No, we're coming lower.
we're lower.
We're gonna be
okay.
lower.
And is there any
Greg,
is there
can
any
you get a
way
point on the map right where we are?
He is.
Yeah.
fire
So
to get into here
so
when it's built?
Comes down about 7 feet.
we're in the large lawn area that would be off the back left corner of the building,
Okay.
right in the middle of where the future well is being pointed, right in the center.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna ask, because I've been asked, so in relationship, here's your well.
Yes.
Where are you in relationship to the town's bedrock well number 4, our wellhead radius area, and our aquifer? We need to have that clearly delineated where
Sure.
your well in relationship to
So
the
it's not on-
town's.
Not on this specific
Yeah,
one,
but
So and so what Dan's showing me here is a blow up of the exhibit we put onto utility plan B, which I know nobody has right now with you, but it's part of that newest set. And it has dimensions on there from our new well, the proposed well, there's that little insert there, to the protective well radius that's on the 2009 maps.
so depending on which bulb you take it to, it's
Yeah, there's
1100
both.
versus
There's
about
for the
50.
well
So
four
wait a
and,
minute,
Isn't it
you
4,000?
gotta help somebody who's a little, so here's the insert, this is what I'm
Yes.
asking about.
Yep.
So you have it drawn around and then it looks like it disappears, but would the truth of this be that it goes like this? Underneath, right? Because the line showing it kind of goes around your building, but
Yeah,
I
it just-
mean,
it
it's
just
not
kinda
going to
is.
go,
No, part of the challenge is these are meant to be much larger plans
Yeah.
with the phone bores of that well.
Yeah.
You can see the radius is cut in a couple different points, so
So let me clarify. The
Yep.
well radius is the yellow.
the yellow,
the
this weird
blue
color.
the blue is the flood hazard delineation.
Okay.
So that's the
So
current
federal-
limit
so
of flood
federal-
hazard.
Federal flood.
Yep.
Funny color here is whatever color we call this, yucky green.
Yeah.
What is yucky green?
it's just the two overlaying on top
So
of each
these
other.
are overlaid. So the wellhead is underneath yucky green in here.
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct. It's actually in the center. Unfortunately, the map doesn't show it. But that's where it's right on the end where it says unknown.
Yeah.
That's the center of the well, and the center of the other well is actually just off screen. So what you're seeing in the green
The
is
overlay.
the overlay of their hatching.
But to
Okay.
be clear, ours from either one is 1,450 feet and 1,131.
So we'd have to walk about 1,400 feet that way just to get to the outer limit.
Yep.
The well itself is then I think another whatever the
here.
dimension is from
Okay.
that, from the center of
Probably
that.
twice that to the center
Yeah.
of it.
Well,
4,000 feet isn't radius.
let's just make sure those clear dimensions are at the
Yeah, I
next
can see
meeting.
on here 14,
Yep.
11, 30.
We are. That will
Okay,
be
yep.
in our response. We have a
Yeah.
response that we plan on issuing out next week with some letters, and we're gonna instead of just doing more on the plans, we're gonna have the maps that come right from the town website, and we're gonna superimpose our well onto it with dimensions, so it's very clear as to where our new well would be in relation to these maps.
We're also going to address usage.
Yes.
Yeah, just confirming all that.
There was a bunch of other comments that we're gonna address, but yes,
We're not filling the cistern with well water.
No, that's two trucks. Yeah, I'm
All
allowed to
that will
talk
be
about
mapped
that.
out.
Okay.
Not today.
To be fair to Greg and Bowler, all these dimensions have been on the set that we submitted previously.
The recent one,
so-
yeah.
All right, where's the next? I don't have it yet.
You wanted to see
Okay.
the discharge point?
The little teeny one, right? Did you want to see the discharge? the spot of discharge? I want to see Charlie. The only reason I came.
We are in the aerial. Yeah, turn it this way, like that. This right here.
All right, let's wait for everybody. All right, we're good.
Nope, it's coming right out through here.
I was looking at I was looking at the
Yeah.
yellow. I was looking at the yellow the way I have to. Yep. I was looking at the yellow from here. I'm like, that's not right.
So where are we?
See that green?
Yes,
We're right there.
Approximately right there.
right there.
So the vernal pool is back there.
It's right there.
And that's the discharge from the roofs and all that stuff from.
Just the roof.
And the end of the pipe, is that what you're saying?
That's right.
And the pipe's not in the wetland, it's out just outside.
Right.
So, and the idea behind that is that all of the water that would naturally flow off of this area into this vernal pool needs to be replaced because this is going to be gone.
Well, not this.
Well, not 100 feet out
100
from the
feet
vernal
here,
pool,
Everything else is gone.
but everything else is gone.
That's
so,
right. And there would be curbing, which would collect it, send it to basins. So because we're taking it away from the pavement areas and from the building areas and sending it to basins, we have a portion of the roof coming through an underground basin and then discharging down here.
Oh, so it's only a portion of the roof.
Only 10,000 square feet.
Okay.
So what's that? 5%.
10%?
5%. Yeah, it's 200,000 square foot roof. So yeah, about 5%.
It won't be that much contribution, but it's just required to make sure that you maintain that hydrology.
Right.
So where is the rest of the?
The rest of the roof goes to all the various basins throughout the site. So we have different call outs showing where the different roof downspout points are.
Okay, I didn't. That's the first time I heard that. That only 10,000 of the roof is going out.
That's right. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Just enough to match the water. That's it.
Okay.
All right, any more questions about the vernal pool?
I think it's also worth mentioning the top one as you get closer to the area. A lot of this edge that we're talking
Gotta remain
about,
natural.
stubbing a pipe, everything stays natural. It's really just the cuts we're doing much further off-site that we need to compensate
So
for.
there's a 100-foot buffer from the edge of the existing vernal pool up.
That's right.
All right.
Right, you're coming into the buffer to lay that pipe, right?
That's right.
Right.
Yep.
And that 100 foot is a typical request to fishing game anyway.
Yep. So we'll disturb it in order to put the pipe in. We have a flared discharge pipe, and then there's a bunch of stone that gets put down at the end of the pipe to
So we're
dissipate the
standing
water flow.
in that,
We're right.
that space.
We're standing right about where the stone is going to end up being, and then after that, it just gets reseeded and left
would it
alone.
make more sense to have it higher? Maybe put that stone and allow the water to kind of disperse as it will?
The only issue is I think we were trying to get the water as close to the actual edge of the wetlands and the vernal pool as possible.
Everybody may have the answer to this. I'm sorry, I know you guys had walked. But when we talk water, is the water we're talking about coming exclusively from the roof and to there? And if it was, wouldn't we want to not have roof water coming directly? Wouldn't you want to let it
A little buffer
go
between
before it comes into the vernal pool?
Yeah, percolate through the.
So it doesn't directly go in the water?
Talk a
again,
little
that-
bit about what the
I
detention
just,
basin
okay,
Yeah.
so,
Let me-
but I just, so the water from the roof is what's coming into
Yeah.
That's
here?
what he said,
5%.
10%.
Okay.
5%,
No,
10,000
It's like
square
10,000.
feet.
Okay, is what goes into
5%
this?
of roof
Okay,
will
all
come
right.
in
Yeah.
here.
So this is what everybody, okay, thank you.
Okay?
And just to be clear, it is proposing to go through a basin, underground basin first.
Okay.
So it gets pre-treated, slowed down velocity, and then discharged out the pipe.
That's important because I think everybody's been picturing just a pipe
Like a
that
fire
shoots
hose.
down
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
the roof into
Right.
the vernal pool. It goes very slowly into an infiltration system, gets treated, and then it slowly perks into this area.
And Greg, would you repeat where the boundary to the vernal pool is? I didn't hear that.
Boundary for the vernal pool is demarked in the blue flagging.
Right in front of you.
Got it.
Yep.
That's just the limit of.
And down that way as well?
Yeah, and the wetlands is the pink, right?
Yeah, wetlands
Yeah,
pink.
and
So we're-
vernal pool is blue?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
I'm
So
no
actually-
hydrology expert, but I have a question, much like the rest of the
Yeah.
boards do.
So
Why?
we go back and see where the 600 feet
That's
is,
okay, let her finish.
please,
600 feet?
buffer. The buffer to the vernal pool.
It's only
We're only proposing 100.
It's 100 feet.
If when we walk back up that way, I can probably tell you where we are within the 100 foot.
Is it not 600?
So the Lamprey River asked for 600 yards in their letter, but that was it's not what we're proposing. Yeah.
All right, Greg.
The-
Greg.
The reason for the short, I use the word short, but the reason for the design for the stone bed at the end is because we're slowing the water up ahead.
Yeah, that's correct. And the stone also helps so that anything that comes out of the pipe doesn't erode
Correct.
or create channels down into the vernal pool.
To the question that was asked earlier, would it make sense for us though to supply a larger stoned area? Or is the dam, for lack of a better word, in our process not worthy of?
Yeah, so
It doesn't make sense.
because we have the basin in line with the pipe first. The stone protection is just really additional.
Belt and suspenders.
Yeah, additional
Got it.
protection from velocity. That's all it's doing. Making sure that we don't then create a channel or anything that would then erode additional dirt into the vernal pool. So the goal is to get it as flat, even though it's not much of a steep slope here. There's enough of a pitch where over time, it would eventually drain down. That's true, but to make it so that see how flat and still the vernal pool is. Our goal is to discharge it right here, pretty much at that same point. So it's going to be at the flattest point, closest to the same elevation, not going to pick up anything else coming down.
And would it make it sense to have the end of that pipe below that, so that enters into basically a well, and then it fills up, and then it's percolating out?
So the stone.
I'm just gonna, just for a
Sorry,
moment,
we
it
talked
has
too
nothing
much.
to do with, yes, that's a plan for
Okay.
the board, so feel free to ask the plan questions at the meeting.
Fair enough.
On a broad question, what are the indicators that this is a vernal pool? The foliage indicators that you folks are
It's not related to foliage. It's related to indicator species that are observed. So the presence of wood frog egg masses, salamander egg masses. There's a whole list of secondary indicators for invertebrate species and stuff. When we did the vernal pool survey back in 2022, I believe.
That's all been submitted in their packet. We have all that information.
It's in the dredging bill, I believe.
Yeah.
Too.
The plan stuff we're gonna do at the meeting, Gretchen. I'm gonna get people out of the mosquitoes and
Yep.
so we're gonna move to the next site, which is
Honestly, I think this is. Oh, we wouldn't even
So
get to the.
we want to see where the wetlands are going to be filled in.
Yep, we'll drive right by it.
Yep.
I think we should get all the rigs turned around, and then Craig, you were leading us, just so you can stop right before that crossing.
There's that gully.
Yeah, we did on the way in. Everybody said, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah.
I said, "That's
all right.
man-made."
Let's get back
So
to
we'll
the
stop
meeting.
that.
I have a question, but I don't know if I should wait till the meeting. You changed the location of the pipe?
That'll be on the.
Is that a plan question? Why, I was just
I
wondering.
mean, they can point it out if they know, but it's.
I'm not sure I'm following.
Approximate location of the pipe.
He
Yeah,
said
I'm
we're
just
kind of
wondering
at
why
the
you
short
moved it.
spot.
Because before it was down
It
further.
was way down at the other end, and I think
Yeah,
it was.
is that a plan
for-
thing?
I
Plan
forgot.
question?
It was a request or something at the Lamprey, I think.
Yeah, we just moved it further up, so it was less adjacent to the other wetlands that are remaining. But really, we have flexibility to put it wherever we want. Right. There's nothing more special about this pocket versus that pocket versus that pocket.
Oh, so this is definitely like a plan question I can ask?
This
So
is the
like-
plan
all right,
question.
Yeah,
Write that down.
I think the definite indicator of vernal pools, it's very scientific, is mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here.
Well, then all of Raymond is a vernal pool.
tree. It's a
And the
pain in
bats
ass
love it.
having a car lot
like-
underneath. And the bats think it's wonderful.
But there
Brendan,
are
what are we looking
braces.
at here?
All right.
Looking at a wetland.
All right, so we are, point on the map where we are on the site, please.
The impact area is not color outlined on this, but
That's
it's
all right,
about,
you could just show us.
about here, I believe, for the roadway and grading.
Okay, I have
So
a
we
road.
are on
Yeah.
where the road would be. The,
Yes,
the driveway.
the grading roadway, it's coming from that way for the entrance. So, and the with the redesign that was submitted to you guys, the impact area actually went down from, it was 4,500 square feet to 3,300 square feet.
Can you sort of point out where that impact area is?
From the new design, this gully is part of it, and then the wetland kind of expands over to the right, I believe. It's a very small, isolated, man-made area.
This is one little vein of it, and then it kind of like opens up a little bit out there.
So, but generally speaking, it's this area right here.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
wait a minute, this might finally come here, my friend. Come here, my friend.
So, this area, which I can never read in here, so this is, what are we calling this? Pond,
It's a permanent
That
is-
open
That's
water.
um,
area.
POW, permanent.
but it's a, we don't, whatever, open water. So the distance where we are standing, is this from this to here? Are you measuring from here to here as your 75 feet?
No,
Where-
there's a separate,
so
that
you're
red
sep-
line
yep.
that's in there, that's the observed high water.
So this is where,
And then
okay,
that's your wetland line.
okay.
So there's two different types of flagging that we're done.
Okay.
Yeah, and they have two different buffers kind of shown along the way, which could be why it's also confusing. This dash line is the buffer from the wetlands. This red line here, which has been kind of recolored in blue, and then you see the red overlap, that's the 75-foot buffer from the high water mark.
And where's that here on the ground? Is that
That's further to the south of us, actually.
Okay, all right. See that when you get down there then?
Oh, the 75 foot's not flagged. The
Right.
buffer's not flagged.
Right, you'd have to walk
You have to
down
pace
and
it out.
into just try to find some wet spot to try to find out where the high water mark is.
And was this carving in the ground? Was this man-made or natural?
It's man-made.
Okay.
There's probably a culvert in it.
Right.
I think it's an old,
Okay.
probably failed culvert.
Right.
but-
What's important to note, Trish, is this is an exhibit that we're trying to just capture as much information as possible in an overlay so that it provides context. The demolition plan and the demolition insets and the survey insets get you into finer detail with larger dimensions and everything's. It's tough to see on the sheets and all that. Everything that's going on down there, but if you work through the more the larger scaled sheets, it becomes a little more obvious.
Having the wetland flag numbers on there is a requirement for DES.
When we were in our sand pits and we had walked and there was soil tests, one of my things is you're discussing is taking this area and excavating it. Upland to excavate wetlands downland. Again, we'll discuss all the details more in the meeting. My question is, again, in concern for our town, any place where you're going to be blasting, breaking, is there bedrock where you may potentially break into a vein and just like another site where the water table will drop and we will lose connectivity of water. And the concern is with the town, all of our water, if we do something on this site and the water table gets fractured, the town loses water. That's what I would, so I won't bring it on to
That's not
here,
a question
so-
that I'm qualified
But
to answer.
I'm trying to see if any of these areas, if we know, anybody's done the soils to know, is this underneath, is this, we saw granite,
There-
we saw those big granite rocks, is it bedrock granite, is that what?
There was
is under
a
there?
site-specific soil map done,
Okay.
and those soil series will be able to tell you
Okay,
a typical
thank you.
area where
All right,
bedrock
so we
comes in.
want bedrock addressed at the meeting. All right, any more questions about this wetland crossing area? All right, and now we're going back to the original entrance.
Yeah, and then if we wanted to check out the new entrance, because we did put some flags and they spray painted where the new entrance drive is. But that's, obviously by the frontage of the road if anybody wants to check that out.
You can go walk up and look at it.
Yeah, that one,
We
that's
turned
easy.
around there, it was
Yeah.
kind of dicey.
Yeah.
And I have another question. I hate to be a pain in the ass, but when we walk, if we walk from Campbell Way over to the lumberyard, and we're gonna walk along the road, where is the culvert that goes under 27? Is it here?
It's right there.
Okay, is it there?
You can see it. It's there are two actually. There's one. I think there's one somewhere in here,
Yep.
and then there's another one here.
Okay, that's
Up
the
closer
one-
to buildings.
up near, yeah, the building supply. Okay. Is it like flagged or anything, or
You
we
can see
just
it from the road,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
See you guys at the bottom?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Somebody found it for me. It needs a little low jack thing on it. A little
Yeah.
apple.
All right. You said there was a question about, do you want to physically go see?
Kathy had wanted to comment, ask for over there.
Yeah, there's two culverts. I didn't realize there were two culverts there, which I guess we could see from the road.
So you guys want to walk along the road just out to the driveway entrance?
Fine with that.
Okay.
Everybody.
If anybody wants to do that, I think that's our next approach. Just be careful of the highway.
Don't come.
Trish, can I get you to take over for me? I don't need to see that. I'm going to stay here and get some drone footage.
Okay.
And then if you guys end it down there, you can just leave it running.
Okay, I'm not
edit it.
touching it.
You don't
so
have to do
I
anything.
wasn't going to, so.
You can see on the
I
thing.
volunteered to hold
it's
it.
pointed that way.
I know, but I'm just saying, all I'm going to do is hold it. Nothing else.
You gotta see where the lens is.
Right, but all I'm going to do is hold. I'm not shutting, turning. I'm going to make everybody seasick. Oh, Kathy has to catch up. He's already there. He's already there, Kathy. So this is the actual, if we walk in, entrance. We could walk.
Do you have the plan that has the new
So this is the center line.
It's funny, on the ground it seems closer than I had envisioned.
Yeah.
Based on the distance.
We're good. Are there any questions about the driveway entrance?
No. So here's the retention pond gonna be on the other side of the orange.
Yep.
That one over there.
Looks like it's a little deeper in.
This isn't going to be gated or anything, is it?
Nope, no gates.
And that orange marker is the edge of the property.
No,
No,
that's
that's
the
the
end of
driveway.
it. See how it flares out? So that marker is this side, and that marker is
And then
that.
just a little further is
See
the-
how the orange lines flare? So these are these flares.
This whole thing would be the driveway.
Their line is almost against the building. Their property line from the looks of it. It's almost against that building.
Yeah, their building is like pretty much right on the property line.
So on that side of the driveway entrance, that's going to be dug out for a culvert
For a basin.
basin right in
Another
here.
basin there.
Okay.
And how much of this is going to be cleared? Is there going to be any left or cleared?
I mean, we're only kind of touching the edge of our what's shown in red there, and then the driveway's coming up. So anything in green is the stuff that's going to remain.
And you have a culvert in there or a pipe that at one of our conscom meetings we asked it to please be a
Box culvert.
open box culvert with a.
I think we were looking into that, right?
Yeah, no, I said at the meeting, no problem changing it. Yeah, we'll
Can
go
you
back
show
and
us
open that
where
up.
that is? Gonna go in a little bit.
It's a few hundred feet. Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, if we want to try to walk up there, I can try to locate it.
It's not bad. There's up there to the
It's a
circle.
dirt road there.
Yeah, it's pretty passable.
So yeah, we
Can I
can take
just
a walk.
Wait, hold on. I mean, it's ground, right?
No, I think it's good to see.
I mean, it's not, let me finish. It's not anything built.
Right.
So you're just gonna be pointing out a piece of ground?
That's right.
Can I walk it there myself?
I'd like to walk it.
What is the purpose?
I would just want to see how low that is, where they're going to put the drainage pipe and
Well, some of that
how close it is.
some of that grading is going to change.
Yeah, all the dark lines are all the proposed grading. So we're manipulating all the grading over there to basically create that bowl and collect the water that all comes down from the hillside here, and then it would discharge across the driveway.
And it might not be,
Yeah,
don't know if the
I don't
applicant
see-
would
I don't-
oppose
I-
to a
I
second
don't- right.
site walk when some of this stuff is being a little bit more
Yeah, once
clear
it's starting laid out.
and laid out and really staked out before they actually build it. And then you can really get a bit of
Well,
Here's the road, here's the culvert, here's the.
I would hate to have them plan on something and we ask for something different once we see it on the ground.
It would be a lot easier to find it if they had, once they mark out the center line like here for the road, then they'll be able to show you exactly where that's going to be. There's a center line of the road, and here's where it's going to be.
So can we walk on this once you have the center line put in?
I mean, typically you don't put the center line in until we're actually starting construction. I mean,
Right.
it would be the area would be cleared.
'Cause I wouldn't
But-
even know how to find it.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said,
yeah, we'd be guessing at this point.
My concern is that we might want to change something based on what we see or don't see, and I don't think it's fair to you guys. I'd like to see everything now.
I don't see how we're gonna see it, that's all.
Well, we don't have
all
the
the
ability
stuff-
to change their plans. We can ask them
Right.
for the delineations and
Because all these pieces that are here aren't there.
not even
Yes,
there.
right now, that's all flat
The
ground.
road's gonna be raised up. Like,
Right.
you gotta remember that as we're coming into the site,
Right.
the driveway is all climbing and getting higher and filling, and then we've kind of just identified where the crossing point would be.
And that's all flat
Would you
ground right
entertain
now.
I
a
don't-
short site walk for the driveway when you get a little bit of clearance and markings?
Yeah, it's no problem. I mean, we don't want to, we don't want water getting trapped on this side to then create like a new wetland. We want the water to get over to get to the wetland. So we're all for, sometimes in the field you have to make some adjustments based on where the final, contouring ends up, but the intent is put it at the lowest point, make a big open box culvert, and let the water and critters get from one side of our driveway to the other.
Right.
That's your big key, right? I'm sorry.
That's it.
For wildlife, correct? Yes. All right, so when we get a little bit closer on that, we can get much more focused on that one area, see things, every dimension, every measurement, physical photographs.
The subtle changes that are going to be made too. So suggestions depending on how the final grading goes and things like that. You're not going to know until, because all these don't exist today. None of this stuff exists. And this pipe could say here, but it could end up here.
AOT might have comments that adjust that or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
Could you show us right here, where is the cement pad from the prior building that was up front here? Where is it?
I don't know.
So,
I don't have that.
Where's that?
There's
Okay.
some paved
Can you
areas
show me
over
where
here.
that is? Just the cement pad? Thank you. And this is the cement pad that's referred to on the drawings, right? Okay, thank you.
This is the area of the former gas station.
Okay, so this is, all right. So when we're all referring to, was that their driveway then, or did they come straight off the, you don't know, right? Maybe, do you? No. Okay,
I don't know off the top of my head.
Just wait.
okay, sorry.
So right now we don't know the entrance to the old gas station, but clearly this gate here would have been the site. At the very least, the parking lot. Yeah.
And this, just to be clear, so this is the area that we assessed with GPR to try to find the tanks before we got the closure reports for those tanks. And then we subsequently got the closure reports from DES that showed that the tanks were removed. Sampling was done. Sampling showed that there wasn't any contamination related to the tanks.
Yes, and thank you for getting those reports. So
Yeah, that saved us a bunch of more work.
it really
You
it saved
know?
everybody because there was a big question, but thank you for getting those documents. All right.
This is where the retention basin is going to be.
Yeah, that's right.
Right here.
This is part of it. Yep. This is, the jelly bean will be right here. So in other words, if there's any concerns about what's here, we're gonna dig that up during construction, and if we find something, we're gonna have to remove it and remediate it correctly. So at least we now know it's not like we'll just be abandoning it, leaving it in place. We're gonna dig this area up.
So it's an improvement.
So yeah. So if there's any
Even though it's been cleared, it's nice to know.
right, no, exactly. I mean,
It's going to be cleared.
I know we
All right.
we can't
sounds
just leave
good.
it once we find it. So we got to get it out.
All right. Any more questions about this particular area? They just, I think, pretty clearly identified what it was. There's no tanks left here. It will be torn up and cleaned up once again. All right. So, that being said,
Motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
I made the motion to adjourn. Trish seconded.
There's
Planning
4 of
board
us.
Members. Roll call.
Trisha, yes?
I vote yes, and Jim has the drone, so we have a quorum vote. This meeting is adjourned at 12:15 p.m. on September 17th, 2023. We will upload the video of this site walk at some point to our website.
Jim said
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you
You
all.
know how to shut it off?